Your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. The end could be in sight in the bitter wages war between Tasmania's public sector and the state government. The Australian Education Union says it's ready to accept an offer if its members sign off on the deal.
Calling recess after a year-long fight for a pay rise.
We're pleased to announce that through collaboration with the department and the Minister that we've managed to come towards an agreement that we are happy to send out to our members to vote on.
That agreement is an 8.5% pay bump for 60% of teachers. All staff will receive at least a 7.5% increase, and the deal has been topped off with other sweeteners on workloads and class preparation time.
As a whole, we believe that the agreement has improvements for our students and for our members, and we're very pleased with the outcome.
It's been a bumpy road to the offer, marked with rolling protests and strikes. The state government originally offered 6%. It's now offering 7%, but that increases with one-off payments and efficiencies.
This is a good outcome for teachers. It's a good outcome especially for their students. And I welcome the AEU taking this offer back to their members.
Labor says the government has been dragged kicking and screaming into the deal.
This has been a 12-month long negotiation that is bordering on the most incompetent industrial negotiation in the state's history.
Roughly 4,500 teachers will have until Thursday to vote unanimously on the offer. Meanwhile, unions for the nurses, midwives and health workers rallied once more on the steps of Parliament. They say they're still far away from reaching any treaty with the government. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's Green candidates have officially launched their federal election campaign just over a week before polling booths officially open. The party's #1 Senate prospect, Nick McKim, had a nervous wait at the last election, but says the party has run a strong campaign in 2019.
Ultimately, people know they can trust the Greens to deliver action on climate change because it's in our DNA and it always has been.
The Greens currently hold 2 of Tasmania's 12 Senate seats. Federal Labor is promising to build 2 24/7 hospital clinics in Burnie and Devonport if it wins the election. The $20 million investment will establish the clinics before extra money is needed for staff.
This funding is for the bricks and mortar, and of course the services within the walk-in clinics will be funded through our increased spending on hospital services.
Meanwhile, the Liberal Party is promising more than $3 million in funding for crisis support services. The funding would be rolled out to 10 local organisations, including the Benevolent Society, which will receive $200,000 for a new program supporting vulnerable Tasmanians.
Working with trusted organisations with a long track record.
I think vulnerable means exactly that. They're people who need help. They can't help themselves for whatever reason. We're here to help them.
The Liberals say funding will flow to the south of the state as well as the north after the party was criticised for dedicating all of its resources to Bass and Braddon. A new wind farm in the Central Highlands, which will one day power thousands of Tasmanian homes, is officially off the ground. The Cattle Hill project is due to be completed by the end of the year, and today celebrated the construction of its first turbine.
A very big reveal. The first turbine at the new Cattle Hill wind farm officially constructed. One of 48 to be built as part of the $300 million effort to make Tasmania 100% reliant on renewable energy by 2022.
We've got 150 people at site. We've got so many vehicles, trucks, deliveries, concrete agitators, foundations being poured. It's really exciting.
These massive structures at the Central Highlands property measure up at 170 metres tall, each of the blades 68 metres long. An army of trades working on the site, building roads, laying cable and lifting the 100-tonne pieces into place.
Global warming has become one of the serious challenges facing humankind, and I believe we are doing a great cause to combat it by developing a renewable project.
Work now accelerated after this summer's bushfires burnt around the development, halting progress for around 3 weeks.
We didn't suffer significant losses of equipment. It was really some spot fires on the site.
Once the wind farm is complete at the end of this year, it will be able to generate enough power to reach around 63,000 homes and supply about 5% of Tasmania's energy needs.
Further developments like what we see here at Cattle Hill will put downward pressure on prices so that we can export our excess energy into the mainland.
Once the farm is up and running, 10 permanent staff will remain on site to maintain the turbines. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
A date has been set for the trial of a man charged with grievous bodily harm following an alleged shooting in Mayfield on Sunday. 25-year-old Ziggy Robert Brunskill will appear in the Launceston Supreme Court on the 22nd of July. He's pleaded not guilty to the charge. Mr Brunskill has been remanded in custody until his trial date. It caused millions of dollars in damage and pushed our emergency services to the limit. 1 year on from the devastating Hobart floods, businesses have bounced back while agencies say they've learnt valuable lessons.
From a distance, you can hear the destruction unfolding. A stairwell turns into a dangerous waterfall of rubbish and mud, transforming the Channel Court shopping centre into a network of filthy canals. When the water subsided, business owners were left mopping up a damage bill in the millions. The Nextra News Agency was among the stores gutted, but 1 year on, customers are back buying lotto tickets and newspapers.
Well, I was devastated. I didn't quite know what to think, except for that we had to start from scratch again. We wanted to get back up and running for the community and for our store. We had no thoughts that we wouldn't open up and start again.
Across Hobart and southern Tasmania, streets became rapids. Flash floods knocked out power and washed away bridges. Water seemingly came from the sky and out of the ground, putting the state's emergency services under the pump with a staggering number of calls.
We had 1,400 telephone calls from concerned people that we consider requests for assistance. We had 480 lodged requests for assistance, and we actually attended to 180 in that 24-hour period.
The SES says it's learnt lessons from the disaster, including to work closer with other agencies, and it's reminding Tasmanians the floodwaters could rise again.
Tasmanians need to realise that we live in an environment that is subject to change and rapid change. We don't have a normal pattern of weather events, and at any point, at any time during the year, there's potential for such severe events to occur.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Concerns are being raised about the proposed relocation of the University of Tasmania campus to Inveresk, with a citizens group claiming the new site is susceptible to flooding and earthquakes. Retired academic Chris Penner has authored a report into the proposed move, which claims buildings would be at risk in a major flooding event.
If there is a significant flood, then it is very likely that those buildings will be seriously damaged, and we've had no discussion about that at all.
UTAS says it is confident in the ability of contemporary engineering to design flood-resilient buildings. The university is expected to submit its development application for the Northern Transformation Project next month.
Lauderdale coach Darren Winters says a Tasmanian VFL licence is potentially a distraction to ambitions for a homegrown AFL side. The state's VFL licence application has been brought forward by a year to 2021.
Well, the problem is that this is the offset of not having an AFL team, isn't it? Gil McLaughlin's dangled a little carrot in front of us, and to be honest, I don't think it's good enough.
Lauderdale plays Glenorchy at KG5 tomorrow, while North Hobart welcomes back former Melbourne Demon Colin Garland to the side after battling injury.
He just said he actually feels really good, he feels really strong in his knee. So he's playing this week, so it gives us a bit of a boost. It structurally straightens it up a lot.
The bottom place Demons have the tough task of taking on North Launceston at UTAS Stadium. Taroona is hoping to pull off an upset when it hosts South Hobart in the Lacko Seljack Cup quarter-final tomorrow. South goes into the match desperate for more silverware, but concedes its rival is no easy beat on a pitch dubbed the Graveyard.
South Hobart's injury woes may leave them exposed, with Alec Walter, Declan Foley and Darcy Hall all stuck on the sidelines.
We know they've got some quality and we expect a tough game down there, so we'll go there with great respect for our opponent.
Taroona is daring to dream against one of the league heavyweights. An unlikely win would see them just 2 wins away from a coveted FFA Cup berth.
Coming up against really good quality opposition, really good quality football as well. That's what our stakeholders, that's what our supporters want to see. So at every opportunity, of course, it's great.
In the weekend's other Lacasseljak Cup matches, Somerset take on University, Olympia host Riverside, while on Sunday Zebras face off against Devonport. To mountain biking, and 500 riders from 33 schools have taken part in today's All-Schools Championships in Glenorchy. Organisers celebrating a 300% increase in female participation compared to last year's event.
We're really, really lucky with the facilities that we've got in the state, and it's definitely fostering teenagers and people of all ages really to get out and get mountain biking.
Among those carving up the tracks today was Fenella Harris, who's leading the Under-21 Enduro World Series after wins in Rotorua and Derby. Meanwhile, the Launceston Tornadoes are hoping to steady their shaky start to the season when they face Dandenong Rangers tomorrow. The squad bolstered by its 3 imports, who will take to the court together for the first time.
Up in Ulverston, it'll be good to have a double header. The Dandenong team have Bet Cole, obviously. She's a pretty focal point of their team, so we've slightly adjusted our defence to contain her, and with doing that we'll contain the rest of them at the same time.
And in golf, Tasmania has fallen agonisingly short in the Australian Interstate Series, going down to Victoria in today's match. Despite being the giant killers all week, putts like this from the Vics sealed the locals' fate, securing the visitors a finals berth against traditional rivals New South Wales. Andrew McCarthy, 7 Tasmania News.
Good evening. The cooler breezes dropped the temperatures around the state today, with most below average. Hobart and Launceston just 12 degrees, Burnie and Devonport 15. Flinders Island the high with 17, St Helens recorded 15, Low Head and King Island 14 degrees. Most of the other centres in the low teens, with Lyawini peaking on 5. The state covered in cloud today, and overnight 85 millimetres fell at Pine Tree Rivulet with 51 millimetres at Quanby Bluff. Today the totals all a lot lower. Cloud also spirals around Victoria and New South Wales, mid to low level cloud over South Australia, with higher level cloud over the top end. Tomorrow another front looms and should cross the state. While weakening, a high pressure system over the Bight dominates most of the weather. West to southwesterly winds ranging up to 20 to 30 knots and to 20 knots inland, swells up to 3.5 metres, and by Monday the 4-metre waves of Shipsterns Bluff will be perfect for some mental slab wrangling in the Red Bull Cape Fear event, which will include Mick Fanning. It's going to be amped. A strong wind warning is on from Sandy Cape to St Helens Point, as well as for waters between Tasman Island and Low Rocky Point. We also have a frost warning for the central North, Midlands and East Coast. Saturday in Hobart, partly cloudy, a cool night, 16 the top. Even cooler for Maydena, a shower or two, 13 for Oatlands as well. Launceston, 17 degrees and morning fog, partly cloudy for Devonport, 17 the top, 10 the high for Lyawini after a -3 start. 16 the top for Burnie, with a shower or two developing, showers for Strawn, and 15 for Marrawar. And in the east tomorrow, mostly sunny, St Helens 18, 17 for Swansea and Orford. On Sunday, showers over the west, south and Bass Strait, otherwise fine. Monday, the showers will extend from the west through to the central and southern regions later, and on Tuesday, a few showers contracting to the northeast during the morning. Sunny weather for Perth, Canberra and Brisbane tomorrow. A possible shower for Adelaide and Melbourne. Melbourne expecting 17 degrees. Partly cloudy and windy for Sydney. Cloudy in Hobart, 10 at the moment, 11 right now in Launceston. Devonport currently 12 degrees. Yes, Joe, looking forward to the big waves off Shipstern Bluff. There are going to be some rad barrels. I won't be there though, I'm a bit of a paddle puss.
That's an old person trying to act cool, everybody. There you go. All right, thank you very much. We enjoyed your company. We hope you enjoyed ours. We'll see you a bit later. Bye-bye.